They often say that conservatives are better looking than liberals, and I think this crowd proves that this afternoon. A year ago, we began a journey. For most of us, it began around the kitchen table and in our living rooms. Discussions on the ever-growing size of government, the rapidly increasing national debt, and the idea that some were too big to fail. These became common points of conversation. We contacted our representatives, but few would listen. For some here today, it pushed you to literally stand in protest for the first time. For Dr. David Blank, who you will hear from shortly, and myself, it caused us to run for office. It has certainly been a year of firsts, but it has not been the first time that the government has promised the people something for nothing. TARP would cost us $1 trillion, but would be paid back with interest. Companies would be taken over by the federal government, giving control to the taxpayer, they said. And soon health care for all became the claim, a promise that Washington could deliver a system free of fraud, free of waste, free of pre-existing conditions, and free of debt. Friends, there is always a cost. Those who came before us sacrificed everything, building this nation from a few settlers to the greatest country in the world. This nation grew because of the ability of its people to innovate, to keep the fruit of their labor, and because they were a people of compassion. I'm a neurocritical care nurse here in Indianapolis. I see every day the sobering results of accidents, anger, and poor choices. It is not unusual for me to have those critical conversations. Conversations with patients' loved ones concerning prolonging life and prolonging death. Treatment options are incredibly skilled and complex. Yet just a year ago, the Congress told us that they were going to pass comprehensive health care reform that would benefit everyone, and that they were going to do it in 2 weeks. Sweeping legislation that would affect every American, from the most healthy to those I care for. Complex, at times sad, and sometimes miraculous. Who here in this crowd would be arrogant enough to make such a claim, that they could achieve such a feat in 2 weeks? More importantly, who would want to achieve such a feat without first discussing the needs with the American people? Now, a year later, we have only an idea of a bill that is being drafted behind closed rooms of the Capitol. That does not promise tax equity, state-based reform that keeps decision-making close to home, or sound financing. Again, made to believe that we can achieve health care for all and for free. What it does promise is mandated expansions, less flexibility, and unknown cost. It promised transferring state power to federal regulators, giving unprecedented amounts of power to the federal government, especially the Secretary of Human Health and Human Services, to determine health insurance rules and benefits, and its promise of a one-size-fits-all approach to health care. And we all know that one size does not always fit all. We are a people with diverse needs. True health care reform would promote innovation amongst the states. It would preserve the state's ability to be flexible with its programming, and it would address fundamental Medicaid reform. Since day one, we have heard heart-wrenching stories of those struggling under the current health care system. Many have said that this very reform must be passed in the name of social justice. As I said before, this journey has caused me to run for state representative of District 97. We're in that district now, including the cities of Indianapolis and Beech Grove. On Saturday, with the help of some cold and wet volunteers, we made contact over 500 of my neighbors. It is very true that people are concerned about health care. It is very true that people are concerned about education and about jobs and about crime. But social justice is not a healthcare monopoly by the federal government. Social justice is not an education monopoly that makes kids go to poor achieving schools simply because their parents are low income. It is not a system that the powerful or those who make $250,000 or more are forced to give so that others can benefit. True social justice takes those without power and empowers them. It educates and enables men and women, boys and girls, to move past the cycle of poverty. True social justice allows the community to innovate and to find ways to meet their own needs. True social justice mends relationships so that kids can grow up with both a mom and a dad. True social justice asks the community what they need. It does not tell them what they need. This state has remained solvent while many others have gone bankrupt. This state has been a leader in innovation, and with your help, this state will continue to move forward. We will achieve true health care reform, and we will lift up, empower, and enable those who are struggling, and we will watch them succeed. My name is Wes Robinson, and I say, kill the bill.